Welcome to Body by Design. I'm your host, Blue Driver, a women's strength training and metabolism coach. I went from years suffering hormone imbalances, looking soft and bloated, to symptom-free and building muscle for a toned athletic physique. Since then, I've made it my mission to empower women to take control of their own health, hormones and body composition. So grab a cup of coffee and let's build your body by design. Welcome back to another episode of Body by Design. This week, I've invited along two very special people for me. Got a little training group going, Anna and Jen. So Anna Hansel and Jen Swan. We met many years ago. I think we all kind of connected a good 3 years ago, but kind of knew of one another for probably about 5 years now, yeah?
Yeah.
They were in the same program as that I started with Kitty Bloomfield and Craig McDonald in their Win at Life program. So we all kind of started there, all did really well and have continued on. We all, in my last 2 years of training that I was doing with Craig, where I was doing my build and my cut, Jen and Anna have done that process with me. Anna has been to stage once before and she's preparing to go back. So she actually didn't do the cut with us. She stayed in her build, but she's well into her cut now and she'll tell us a bit about that. And Jen went and did a photo shoot as well, which I have shared some of her photos and I might put a couple of more photos up when I bring this podcast out because she had an amazing photo shoot, got a rockin' body. So welcome, ladies.
Hello. Thank you. Thanks for having us on.
So let's start with your own little stories, Jen. Where did you start, and how did this all evolve for you?
I think I'm pretty sure that we've spoken about it before. I was looking for training, a training program. I thought that I had the nutrition all sewn up. What did I know? Went for. I just wanted to do the training, and I wanted to learn how to train and to put programs like together, and then it sort of just evolved from there. And then I realised that, oh, you know what, I actually probably do need a little bit of nutrition sort of help. So signed up sort of for a month one. Thought, oh, let's give it a crack. Did the month, loved it, and then signed up for a year so that. To get the benefit out of it. And from there it was, not only sort of like learning the training and really how to train and train properly. I used to do silly things like bunny hops and little baby weights and
burpees and
it was just, you look back and you go, oh my goodness, like, just silly things to flog yourself rather than actually really concentrating on the actual bracing and just
mind muscle connection and
really getting into it. And now and then after that sort of I was there going, oh, okay, you actually do need to really watch, as Craig would always say, it's what you stick down your neck. And it actually ended up that's what it came down to. It's what you actually eat to go with your training. And so it's evolved from there.
Yeah. Anna, what about you? You've got a very interesting story.
Yeah. So I think I signed up with Kitty and Craig with that free sort of, I think it was a 21-day trial or something, and just dabbled in it because I knew I needed something. I sort of thought I knew how to train. I had an old gym set in the shed. And
one of those, like a multi-tool gym set?
Oh, yeah, I had one of those, some old rusty crap from someone's backyard, and sort of thought I knew what I was doing there. But like Jen said, that I thought I needed to learn what to eat. I had bad binge eating problem and then a bad drinking problem. So, and I knew I had to get off alcohol, and I thought maybe this will do it. And I wanted an amazing body, and I thought, oh well, yep, I'll sign up and join up this program. And then it's saying, like what Jen was saying, sort of taught me, oh my God, I know nothing. Learnt to lift and eat properly, and managed to get off the drink, which was probably the biggest thing for me at the time.
Mm.
So
And
that
then
really,
and then you did that for a number of years and you were very successful. And then you went to stage.
yeah, which was something I had absolutely no intentions of doing. And even in the first couple of years, I had no intentions of, ever going on stage. But there was just kind of, I don't know, it was like a little voice in the back of my head. It was something I was really interested in, and kept listening to podcasts and reading about it the whole time, going, oh, I'm never going to do it, but I could never do that. And then, one day I thought, well, I kind of live that lifestyle anyway, tracking and training, and all I want to do is build muscle. So, why not? So it was kind of like the next step.
And you did well out of your first show. Let us. So you did 2 shows the first time round. 2? 3?
Yeah.
2.
No, 2. One in Brisbane, one in Townsville. Yeah.
And how did you do?
Yeah, good. So I won the rookies. Won a couple of firsts. The ICM one in Brisbane, in my categories in figure. And then in Townsville, won the overall with the figure up there.
Which was awesome. I saw you. I was there with you. It was amazing. That was the first time Anna and I met in person.
Yeah, first time we'd actually met in person. So we'd only ever sort of talked online through that coaching program together. Yeah. So that was awesome.
How crazy were we because recently, for people listening, we a few months back, it'd be about 6 months back now, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it was August last year.
Yeah, August last year. Jen, Anna and I decided that we were all going to meet up, and we're all a number of hours from one another. So we found a central place and we hired a little Airbnb, and we went and lived and breathed training and eating and everything for a long weekend. But I'd met Anna briefly at that Townsville weekend. I'd never met Jen. So Jen and I hadn't met. And it was just like,
I met Jen once, at the ICM comp.
My daughter was like, Mum, you're going to go meet strangers from the internet. I don't think that's something that you would be telling I should be doing. When I stopped and thought about it, I was like, oh, wow, it must seem really weird. But we just got to know one another because we did, Zoom sessions and all that as well. So we got to know one another. But, yeah, that was an awesome weekend to get to that. I love finding, because people in your life just never quite get it unless they're actually doing it. I've got plenty of people that support me. They support, don't necessarily get it. So to find you guys that are just so like.
Well, and the whole weekend was based on, okay, so when can we fit this in around our food? And then
because we were all on a build, so we were all eating a lot.
We always had to go back, and we had to walk somewhere, and then we had to walk back to get food, and then we had to walk somewhere else to do something. But we had to make sure we were back to get food, and then we had to go away again, and then come back for more food, and then we had to find somewhere to train. So it was we understand.
Yeah, it was really good. And we just worked around everyone else's, it was like, oh, well, what are you doing when and how? And, dinner, how much how much weight are you having? What are you having? Just fit everyone's macros in. It was so good. I loved it. We got to do it again.
Definitely. Definitely.
But it definitely becomes a lifestyle. I think I was the same as well, though. I was like Jen. I went looking for a training program. I was in a gym doing bunch of random shit, as Craig would put it, and I was like, I just need a program to tell me what to do, because I thought I knew how to train hard and I could do it, and then it was the food. I had always supposedly been a healthy eater with lots of nuts and salads and broccoli and rice and blah blah blah, and it was the whole food around. For me, it was the hormone side of things, because like you guys know, I've got a big history of endometriosis, chronic thrush, and 3 p.m. crashes. I used to come home from work and have a nap on the couch every day. Otherwise, I couldn't make it through. And the food just made sense with the hormone balancing and everything. I was like, wow, is this going to work? Is this going to be me? And it did. I stuck with it. I think I did the 30-day free thing as well. They send it down. Then I signed up for the 1 month trial, and then I just signed. I don't even know if I signed up for a year. I just signed up, and I've never left.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Having a coach is so good though. Like even how long have we been doing it? And you know, even in these builds and cuts, we've all gotten in our chat group and gone, oh my God, the weight's on, or how terrible you feel, or I need to pull the pin, this isn't working. You know, we've all been through those moments, even 5-6 years down the track, we still have that. So having a coach there, because you know, Craig always pulled us back into line.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. Made you push that a little bit harder. Yeah.
Yeah.
Gives you that support and makes you push a bit harder too, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you don't see things you don't see things in the right way when you're actually in the middle of it.
No, you don't.
So someone on the outside's got to sort of look at it and go, no, this we're on the right path. You've just got to stay the course. Like this
Point out the data.
Yeah.
Because emotionally, it can be hard, and you can have other things. So, like in this last cut, for instance, I actually was a lot better than I was in my first one, because I had a purpose, and I knew, and I mentally, there was only like a couple of shifts in there, whereas the first one I was like, oh my God, I can't do this, and but the second one, I think I was more conditioned, and I could see what I needed to do and get out of it.
And you know what to expect. You know how you're going to feel, because cuts aren't pleasant. Let's face it.
No.
I don't know how people live in a deficit for forever, because they're not pleasant to be in. You don't feel, and I think when we feel as good as we do now, I used to think I felt good, but now I know that I actually was feeling pretty shitty. So I think, when you learn how to feel really good, you understand how bad being in a cut really is.
And it's not only just that as well. It's so this whole process and learning this whole process it's about finding what works for you. So it's not going to be the same for everybody. So it's work. And so when a lot of people say to you, well, they say to me is, oh, do you only want to eat healthy? Do you only want to do that? And I go, well, actually, I just want to eat the food that I know my body likes and my body responds well with. So what's the point of me going and eating something because you guys think that I should be eating it, or you guys think that I should be drinking it? I couldn't give two shits what people say about me not drinking with them, and not eating a whole lump of camembert cheese that's sitting right there. Like things like that, I know that my body won't respond well to it.
Yeah.
So it's about that learning. And from this program, it's changed my whole way of life, in that I'll only do the things that actually my body will respond well with.
Yeah, we've been taught, we really have been taught to listen to our body, and it's about optimization. Yeah, sure, there's principles to follow. And, when you do a cut or a build or whatever, there's some structures that you follow, but you've got to listen to your body as well and what makes you feel good and not feel good. But I mean, you say about not eating that whole wheel of camembert or not drinking. You don't ever regret that decision, though, that you choose not to. You go home the next day, you wake up, you feel fresh, you're not hungover. You don't regret choosing not to drink. But how often do people, the ones that chose to drink, they still wake up in the morning and go, oh, great night, but I feel crap. They regret that decision. Or, they ate that whole wheel of camembert that sat there because one, I think it's mindless, or two, they just think they've got no self-control. And then the next day they step on the scale and they go, oh, yeah, I shouldn't have eaten that. There's regret. There is regret. Yeah. In the moment, it may feel like it's a harder choice to make, but you never regret it afterwards.
No.
It's definitely, it has been like an absolute massive learning curve, and looking at not only the weight on the scale, because like now I use it now as a data point. That's where I'm at. Sort of.
And it's not even the daily one. We wait until we add all the data up and find our weekly average. Yeah. We don't even look at the daily.
And that's the thing. Like mine can jump sort of between sort of like a kilo and a half, then it will come back down. And it's inflammation. You know that it's your period. You know that it's your ovulation. You once you
ate something with a bit more salt in it, or Yeah, all these.
And that's the thing. Or if you have had a night of sort of like slightly sort of a higher sort of a cut, all of those things, you'll learn that, you feel comfortable with that, and it's all about that composition. And it's about, you don't want all those jiggly bits as you get a bit older, and you know how to control them.
Mm.
And that's where I think that we all three of us are in a good position, knowing what to do and to still stick with those your macros, even though you might be a little bit more relaxed if you're not in a massive cut, but you're still following, and you're still sort of really close, because you eat the same thing every day anyway, pretty much.
Yeah,
You're staying
you find
there.
food you love.
You
I
don't-
agree with you. You actually don't feel
That's
like
it.
anything else. It's not boring. You just actually don't feel like anything else.
I love the time that I'm going to eat, because I know the food I get up in the morning and I know I'm going to have my custard, and I know I get excited.
Who else
before
has custard first in the morning? All my girls train in the morning. I say, eat custard. They're like, really? I'm like, yeah, go get yourself some custard, put some protein powder in it. Can I do that? Fuck yes.
The food, I wake up, from the minute I wake up, and the food that I eat, I look forward to my breakfast, my morning tea. I look forward to all of those meals. And people say to me, oh no, I just need variety.
No,
Yeah.
Why?
Do you really?
Why?
Yeah.
look, I suppose for me, I've always changed my dinners. I think you girls are a little different, where you pick what you're going to eat for the whole week, whereas I tend to swap my dinners at night time. We had a family of 6 at one stage, 4 kids in the house, and that's where I got my variety. But even then, it was kind of still the same meals every week.
Yeah.
Might have been a different dinner each night, but over a 2-week period, you're probably cycling through the same sort of things.
Yeah. That's it.
Yeah, I change things occasionally, sort of here and there, and like you either have fish for dinner, or you'll have your mince, and it depends on what you sort of prepped. But you learn what you can swap in and swap out, and still make it a really sort of good day out of it.
Yeah.
I don't let it go completely out. And if you do go out and have things, you know what to choose that's going to still be good for you, like for your body, and what you're going to respond well. And then
you learn to eyeball it after weighing things for so long. You get better at it. It's hard in the beginning. I get that it's hard in the beginning, but you learn to eyeball. And really, the end of the day, when you've built the body, that's where sustainability and flexibility comes in. I think there's this perception out there that, oh, but I'm eating this way and I'm training, so now I should just automatically have that sustainability and flexibility. No. You still got to do the groundwork to begin with. I mean, I did 2 years of being pretty strict to get rid of all my hormone issues and all that sort of stuff. You've got to, and all while trying to build that muscle and everything. None of us ever entered into a cut to begin with.
No.
And look, maybe we could have done a little bit of a deficit just to bring body fat down a bit, so you feel a bit more comfortable, not in the way that we've done cuts now, like Jen and I have just done, or like Anna does for a competition prep, but you could bring it down just a little bit maybe. But I still value my journey of what I've done, because it's sustainability now. Christ, stories this morning on Instagram. I had waffles for breakfast this morning because we had friends over. I threw some collagen in my coffee to help boost my protein. I made sure I had extra serving of yogurt, so there was extra protein in it there. It was nice sourdough waffles, so it was easy to digest. It was beautiful stewed apples. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. But how many people could you go, oh, yeah, we had waffles for breakfast? They would go, oh, I put kilos on. And I didn't even track it this morning. I haven't bothered tracking today.
Yeah.
I've got that flexibility now. I'm not in a cut, I'm not in a build. I'm just kind of maintaining at the moment, focusing on my health. But when you've got that muscle mass, you've got that flexibility. One meal is not going to ruin you.
Yeah. No, that's right. And even when you're in a cut, if you're tracking consistently and if you built your calories up, You
And
know,
you just try and eat within what you're meant to.
yeah,
It's not going to ruin you.
It's not going to ruin you. Like my meal prep this morning, and I sent some photos to my friend, and she's like, "How are you not fat?" And I'm like, "Because I track everything I eat, and I'm consistent, and I do this every day, and it fits." So it's not crap. It's all homemade.
Yep. And you're walking. You're doing those steps every day. You're doing that.
Training when I'm meant to train. I'm walking. You do everything right and track the data, and
And I mean, you certainly didn't start out on that much food either, I think.
No, I mean, I started on 1,800 calories, I think, and before this prep, I was on 3,100. And my maintenance was around 3,000. So, but I mean, that's 5 years.
Yeah,
too.
That's right. That's a reflection of what you've built. But even when you look like Jen's muscle mass is considerably more than mine. You're considerably more than both of us. But when you compare Jen and I, and you look at our build, I ended up at 3,025 for my calories for my build, and Jen went to 2,900. Now she's got a lot more muscle mass on her than me. So why the difference? You would think maybe that it should have been Jen on the 3,000, but you've got to put your lifestyle factors into there too. I had extreme stress, happen. Then Dean was diagnosed the second time round with his cancer. I went through, my struggles with working at the hospital with the doctor that had damaged him, all that, like extreme stress.
Yeah.
That requires more calories in a lot of people. And I think if that hadn't have happened, I probably would have stopped at around the 2,800. I certainly wouldn't have been on as much as Jen. So people look for this, what calories should I go on for a deficit? Well, anyone that comes into my program, the first thing we're doing is we're finding out what your maintenance is.
Yeah.
Because it's not about this, like 1,800 calories is for everyone. No.
Two people are the same. That's right.
Yep. Everyone's
body. You got to start somewhere. Like there's people who will sort of go, oh well, I'm eating 1,300, and I'm looking at them going, well, no, you're not. Like, I'm sorry,
they're not.
But you're not doing it. Like, there's no fucking way. It's because, like, I would want to kill someone if I ever got down to that, but I never got down to that amount of calories. Like, so you don't need to get down to there. So you do need, as you say, you do need to build the calories. You need to get to your maintenance, and then you play from there. And that's when you can actually do those sorts of a cut. But it's also about when people say that, it's the adherence to it. Like, and actually, it's not just saying, oh yeah, I'm doing 1,300 calories, and then the weekend it just blows it out, and then they go, okay, well, I'm doing 1,300 again for during the week. Well, you've just blown everything because you've just eaten 3,000, 4,000 over the weekend.
Well, they're choosing to measure things by tablespoon and teaspoon, which we know is not. That's not accurate, because everyone's leveled off teaspoon. It's a bit. Yeah, you're not. There's something in there that's not accurate. Or, they're eating fuck all and they're not training and walking, which there's energy expenditure as well. And your metabolism doesn't break. Your hormones do those things affect the amount of calories that you burn? Sure. But you just got to work with what you've got and improve on it and build it all back up again.
Yeah.
But it is about being consistent, and you guys know how hard it is when you're in a cut, like when you're in a deficit, and what you've got to do. It's not just about reducing those calories, it's sticking to it, and it's watching it, and it's adding in and making sure that instead of reducing the calories, adding in the steps.
Yeah.
It's still training, and it's still training hard. It's not backing off.
No.
But that's where a lot of people go wrong, because they'll go, oh, it's okay, I'll just relax here a little bit. You have to do the hard work. You don't go out. If you pick a 3-month period that you're going to do a deficit for, and you don't want much longer than that, you're not going out. You're not enjoying a glass of wine that you might think that you need. You just have to say no to some things whilst you're doing that. And then When you go back into maintenance,
That's when you get your
Right.
flexibility.
And you got to prioritize your sleep and prioritize your training, and it's all the little things. It's not just
Another
one.
big one, your sleep. If you're not getting enough sleep, well, apart from, the whole cortisol rises and all the rest of it, you're tired. And when you're tired, what do? You sit down on the couch and you go, and you literally
Yeah.
don't move. You literally don't move, right? Whereas when you've got energy, you're kind of shifting in your seat, or you might see your cup sitting there and go, I'll just go pop that in the dishwasher. You don't do any of that when you're tired. So if you don't prioritize your sleep, just that, this is the neat movement that people talk about. Yes, there's your steps, I get that, but there's that neat movement too. And
Yeah.
that slight movement, that more fidgeting, that more shifting in your seat and all the rest of it raises your heart rate. Even if it's by 10 beats, it raises your heart rate.
Yeah.
And that burns energy, and it's actually got a really significant impact. So if you're not prioritizing your sleep, you can't train hard, so therefore you're going to lose muscle. You get lethargic, so you lose all that extra fidgeting, and your NEAT really comes down. And then you're in a position where it's like, well, I've got to cut calories again because it's not moving. You've got to.
Yeah.
I think, for me, the hardest part in this last cut, particularly because it went so long, I was okay at the 12, 16 week mark, which is where you take an everyday person, but I went longer. And it got really hard for me there. It was the energy expenditure. It was getting up in the morning and doing those steps. And it felt really, well, you girls know that I had a little bit of a meltdown and almost pulled out of it. I was like, I can't do this anymore. I feel terrible. My body, it's awful.
Yeah.
But that's where you got to just push through that. You just want to get in and get out. Like Jen says, be consistent with it. Pick times that you don't have big events on. Cut back your socialization and just get in, do the work and get the fuck out of it, because nobody wants to be feeling miserable for it.
No, and you just, and what people have also got to realize is, do what we've done. You do your sort of your real hard work, build yourself up, sort of sit in sort of like in that sort of uncomfortable state for a little bit, do a bit of a cut, and then go again, and then go and do another cut. Like, so you actually have learnt that process.
Yeah.
And then you'll actually see it, and make sure that you don't just look at that weight on the scale. Like,
Yes.
my weight now compared, like, weight and scale, like, and then body composition is completely different to when I started.
Yeah.
Like, I it's funny to say it, but I actually freaking love looking at myself in the mirror sometimes now.
Yeah, that's awesome.
There's nothing better
like
than
you
you get to the mirror and go, yeah, that's okay.
Bad, maybe.
It is. It's good. I mean, we work hard. We should be able. Yes, part of it is for aesthetics. But if we didn't just chase the aesthetics, if we thought about lifestyle and habits and health and stuff like that, the aesthetics come. The aesthetics will actually come. But you're right, Jen.
They're just a byproduct of the lifestyle.
Yeah, it is. It's a byproduct of the lifestyle, and people need to understand that. I still have people messaging me now. Oh, can you tell me more about your 12-week program? Well, I never actually talk about a 12-week program, but that seems to be the magical number out there, 12-week program.
Yeah.
It used to be 8. I think there's a lot about the 12-week program. But it still is. Tell me about your program and when they're going to get results. And I'm like,
when's it going to finish? Yeah.
How long's a piece of string, mate? Like, what's your health to start with? What's your training experience? The people that have told me that they train, and then I see their videos and it's like the training 10 reps for 4 sets. There's no training to failure in there. There's no, if you can do 10 reps in your second set after you've just done a set of 10 reps, you didn't train to failure. Your reps should be reducing as you go if you're training hard enough. So where are you starting? But if you just spent some time building the foundation in the body that you're probably very uncomfortable in at the moment, but build that foundation, like Jen just said, just spend some time being uncomfortable. And then we did that process, didn't we? When we first started with Craig, we actually did a bit of a cut, 12 to 16 week cut to give us, and it wasn't about do a cut to look good for the result. We actually did that cut to start a runway for us to go, right, serious muscle building. And the lower we could get, the more runway we had to build without having to buy a new wardrobe, without getting overly comfortable. And really, by the time we all got overly comfortable, we were at that 12-month stage. Yes, we were a little bit beforehand, but we actually were like, yeah, I need a new size of clothes. By that 12, I think we did end up doing 14 months or something, didn't we, Jen?
My God, the years have blurred into one. Yeah, we definitely did it for
It was
for
over
a while, and I think it was when I said to Craig, "I'm getting fluffy, and I can't." my work skirt. I'm not asking them to buy me a new work skirt.
Yeah.
All right, let's do a little bit of a cut, just sort of so that we can keep you in your skirt.
Yeah.
So and that was it. So, but it definitely wasn't like this last one. This last cut.
Yeah,
was
we did it a quick 8-week cut to pull us back.
Yeah.
Pull us back a bit. I did one a little bit later than mine was a little bit later than yours, only because but again, I wasn't health-wise, I wasn't in a position to do that because you did it in the time that Dean was going through his surgery and all that sort of stuff, and that just wasn't. You just don't go into a deficit at that time. So I just had to sit there and be uncomfortable. Just had to face it and stay in it. And then when things settled down a bit, I went and did a quick mini cut too, and just gave us a little bit more room. But I think even with that mini cut in the middle, I think we did like 12, 14 months, something like that. That's how long we spent building what you now see in these photos.
Yeah.
Like it was
We
a
could
long
have gone
time.
longer.
Yeah, we could have gone longer, but we had something we wanted to achieve. I'll go back and do another build. Probably not quite as big and as long as the last one, but I'll go back and do another build.
I think, and that's the thing, like now as well, is it's learning then. You don't just get to, so that's coming back to sort of like what our end results were. Like, so Anna will go to like do her cut. You're going to go to stage, and she's not going to come out of it and eat like an asshole when she comes out.
No.
It's like when with like you and I, like you finish your cut, we've done the I could fly right into my head.
I could see it.
Yeah. So I've done my cut and I've come out, but it's introducing the same, like the food, and it's just increasing the little bit of the food, but it's not changing it, and it's just reversing out sort of slowly. So, because I don't want to just jam all of that weight that you work so hard to get off, I now want to build back up again, but slowly.
Yeah.
And I definitely don't want to be going and putting 10 kilos on after I've just worked so hard to get sort of the 6 off.
But that's where learning the skill comes in, doesn't it? The learning the tracking of the macros, learning the phases, that now you know how to control that. And so many people that go, I do talk to a lot of people. There are people out there that talk about builds as well. They're not just losing weight, though most of them are about losing weight. But the ones that you talk to that are in a build, they're like, and it's like, oh yeah, what sort of calories you're on? Oh yeah, I don't know. I know I'm building muscle because I'm putting weight on. Really?
Yeah,
I've got no fucking idea if you're putting muscle on or not, because what's their intensity of training like? They could be eating in a surplus, gaining body fat, but they're not training hard enough to stimulate a result.
It's very hard to, unless you're tracking your training and your weights, especially, and you know that, yeah, okay, I am getting stronger and progressing in the gym.
And your weight scale, your weekly weight and your measurements, that all tell you your body fat and your muscle mass. You don't know shit.
That's right.
And Anna, you do all of that. You're going to stay to do a build. When you do your build, you're just as accurate. And if anything, that's probably you got to be even more specific.
You do because you can't see what's happening because you are soft. So you only have the data to go by, which is mostly the data in the gym. So you're like, okay, I'm hoping I'm stronger. I'm hoping there's more muscle under here. But you're tracking your food, your progression in the gym. So if that all adds up, it should at the end of the day.
But listen, even you are like, oh, you should, I hope, because it's a mind, isn't it?
It's a mind game. I had a moment, well, you ladies know that, where I was like, I don't know if I've built any muscle in this entire time. well, what have I been doing? Have I just wasted 2 years? But then, as I started,
You've started comparing your photos. Now you're in prep.
and
Comparing
now
to
that I
last
started
year, you
to
look
cut
good.
down, I'm like, oh, okay, I did build some muscle. So
The tip should be about revealing what you've worked on.
exactly.
And as like you guys are going to agree on it as well, is sticking to a program for long enough that you actually can see that you are progressing in your program, your training, not switching and changing every 4 or 6 weeks because you're bored and you need
you need to confuse the muscle.
Yeah, exactly.
What? Like, no, you don't. You don't need to be walking around like you've just come off a fucking horse. You just need to be able to do it that you can feel like, I don't need to feel sore every single time I walk out of the gym, but I know I've done a good session because I've beaten my numbers from the week before and I know I've put in 100%. Like,
and really, if you're sore, if you're really sore, like walking like a cowboy, I've got to hold on to the walls to sit on the toilet sore after a training session.
I mean,
it happens to us all occasionally, especially when you start a program. That's probably more from the central nervous system being overstimulated for the new way of using your muscle. But essentially, if you're not getting that soreness, it's because you're fueling yourself better. One, it's not central nervous system overload. There's a difference between, actual growing muscle soreness and central nervous system soreness. And the other one is you're eating right. Because if you're getting sore after every training session, even if you've held the same program, it's because you're not recovering right. You don't have enough fuel after. It's you got to sandwich those training sessions. And especially you're in the deficit. When I go into a deficit, I'm like, how much can I hang on to around going into training and coming out without starving myself all day? It's about finding that balance, because you got to have enough to have the energy to go in and train. You got to have enough coming out to recover. So
the most important. And I still haven't had to cut anything around my training, and that will be the absolute last thing, because to me, it's so important to hold on to my muscle.
Protect it for as long as you can. It's the biggest part.
Pre-training, post-training, inputs still
definitely
big. Super important.
I did actually want to. I know we were just going to get on and rabbit and whatever, but I did actually want to. I've looked at my questions and I'm like, I do actually want to discuss this. When was it for each of you that it went from, because we spoke about going into the program, we all signed up for a program and signed up for a month and then a year. Yep. When did it go from I've signed up for a program and this is my lifestyle? Because I think this is what people need to understand. Your current lifestyle is not conducive to the body you want. And if you don't change your lifestyle, and we are talking about tracking your food, training, steps, sunlight, sleep, there's more to it, managing your stress. And there are some stresses that you can't remove. Like I had stresses I couldn't remove, but I still had to use strategies to keep myself in check as much as possible. But, if you're in a job where you're fucking miserable and you're stressed every day, find another job. You actually can. You can find another job. If you're in a relationship that's really stressful, get in and fix it. Like stress is a big thing as well.
Or leave it.
Like Jen, leave it.
That's it.
We're not saying if you've got a hard time to have the body that you want that you should leave your husband. Not promoting that at all.
No.
But
you do have choices.
You do have choices, and if you want that body, you're looking at all those people that go, they have an amazing body. If you dug into their lifestyle and their habits, they're all doing the same fucking thing. They really are. They're all, if they're not tracking macros, they're still on some sort of system to manage their food intake for calories in, calories out, managing their nutrient requirements, so making sure that their body is optimized with all the nutrients that you need to build a decent body. Because, it's like a budget. It's really like a budget that your body runs off of energy to be optimal. And the food that goes in is the fuel that runs that energy. And your body is going to prioritize living, cardiovascular, brain function, respiratory, your immunity, all that. So it's going to prioritize that. And it's going to prioritize that over two big ones, which I see the most of, is hormones, because in females, our hormones are the first to go when we don't have enough nutrients because our lifestyle and nutrition isn't providing that. It's going to filter everything into your life preserving systems to keep them as optimal as possible, because you don't have enough to keep your life functioning, let alone create another life. So it filters away from your hormones, because your sex hormones are all about reproduction. You can't keep yourself alive. So you don't have the budget to keep yourself alive. You can't produce life. Building additional muscle tissue is a luxury item as well. So that's the second one. I can't build muscle because you don't have the right damn nutrients. You can hit those macros every day you lie and not be gaining weight or anything, but still not building muscle because you haven't got the right nutrition in there. So all these people that have got the bodies that you want, they're all doing the nutrition, they're all doing the nutrients, they're all doing the training hard, they're all doing the lifestyle. But people don't see that that's what it is. You actually have to change your lifestyle. So at what point did you realize it had become your lifestyle, but a lifestyle that you actually cherish?
Yeah, I don't know whether it's hard to think now, because I guess it was 5.5 years ago. But I reckon and with 6 to 12 months probably for me. Maybe, yeah.
For it to really, I think it was definitely over the 12 months. And it really, really came home to me sort of in this last 18 months, I think. That's when it's like I've been consistent, and that's just what my lifestyle was. But I think really now it's changed the person who I am for the better. And I'm now a completely different person. And this is the way that I live my life, and I just love it.
Because it filters into your life. That's the other part of what I wanted to talk about, is the benefits. When you actually do realize, shit, this is my lifestyle and I love it. You fall in love with the journey. You're not obsessed with a destination, or you're not trying to reach a destination. You just fall in love with the journey of lifting and eating food that's fucking tasty, simple. So it's, everybody's life is busy these days. So I'm a chef by trade, and I don't cook fancy anymore. Every now, like this morning, I pulled out all the stops with the waffles and all the rest of it because I had over, and I love doing that. And it was still all pro-metabolic and all the rest of it. But I don't eat like that every day. People come to you going, oh, but what do you eat? What recipes? Yeah, I literally eat yogurt and cottage cheese and all that. But I do it in a way that's really tasty, and it's really simple, and it's beautiful. And I feel damn good because my systems are optimized. My life-sustaining systems are optimized. My hormones are now optimized, and I have an abundance of energy and nutrients to build muscle, and it feels damn good.
Yeah.
I reckon it took, for me to realize that it was that, for me, I reckon it was around that 18-month mark, because it took that long to get on top of the endometriosis and the thrush. And I think there was a defining moment for me. Actually, I always blame my daughter. I tell my daughter she stabbed me with a knife. She didn't really, people, but I was irritated with her, and she wasn't putting the shopping away like she should have. And I went and snatched a bag in my mummy anger. And it flipped a knife backwards. My big mother chef knife like this, huge.
Oh no!
It flipped it backwards, and as it came backwards and it went down point first, and it just went straight into my ankle bone and slid down. Anyway, ended up with cellulitis, and I had to go on really strong antibiotics, and they hit me with a double course and all the rest of it. And in my head, I was like, oh my God, Thrush City, I'm done. Nothing. That's when I knew I was good. And that was that moment for me that there's no turning back. There is no turning back. to what I had. This is right. I think I was already living the lifestyle and enjoying it, but that was a defining moment for me. But you're right, Jen, it changes who you are when you have that discipline. I think when you just have a lot of energy and feel good, it changes your outlook on life.
And then it just gets stronger as you go along.
I wouldn't change anything now. Like at the moment, like this is who I am. I'm a much stronger person mentally, physically, emotionally. I'm still getting there with all the other shit that's going on. But it's I've been able to navigate so many more stresses these last several months because of what I do and how I do it. I've still been able to continue my life without completely falling on the ground and losing the plot completely.
Yeah. Because you can do hard things.
Yeah. You have the strength to do other things.
Yeah. That's you just and the thing is you get consistent and you get up and you just know this is what you do. And you learn and not thinking that you're gonna just it's like you learn a habit where someone wants to start something and they give themselves a couple of days. To form a habit, you've got to be consistent.
They say 21 days to start forming a habit. I reckon it's longer than that to sustain it. But yeah, they reckon at least 21 days.
And you need to, and that's the thing, you need to stick with it. And sometimes it's hard, but you do it. You force yourself to do it. And then it just becomes a pattern. It becomes just a natural progression. This is what you do. You get up. I get up at the moment. I meditate. I go out, get myself ready, and like you actually are able to plan, prioritize, and get stuff sorted. Where a lot of people say to you, "Oh no, I haven't got time to meal prep." Oh, well, how can you find time to do that?
You got to eat. You're doing something to eat.
Like just prep all your stuff, and then you got your whole week that you just grab stuff and it's done.
I didn't prep. I wouldn't make it to the gym because I go to the gym in the evenings. Now, all what I've done is taken evening dinner prep time and put that on a Sunday afternoon. And I do a couple of hours on the Sunday afternoon to get ahead of stuff. And then I've got minimal to do when I come home from the gym. That's how you create time. I think, listening to you talk about, I know what to do. I think I don't have time comes from you feel like you're overloaded. You feel like you don't have time. It's a feeling of overwhelm. If you don't have that waking up in the morning, you're about to rush out the door or rush in the door from work and you're like, oh, fuck, what are we going to have for dinner?
Yeah.
You don't actually have to think about it, and it helps remove that feeling of being busy. I mean, geez, look at you. You've started a business. You're going to stage. You're doing posing practice. You're doing some development with it. You guys are doing long hours because you've got your business just up and running. So you've got the admin work outside of your daily work as well. You work out at site, so you've got a long drive out to work, and yet you still do it. And you have children.
Yeah, that's it. And if I didn't have meal prep, oh my God, what would I do to walk in the door? Do you know what I mean?
Oh,
that late.
I couldn't go back there.
Or if I didn't make all of my lunch the night before, how would I ever have time in the morning to do it? When I get up early enough as it is. It just makes your life easier.
And I mean, Jen, I look at like your real like things. I know you've got some tough personal circumstances at the moment, and I feel like having that routine for you. Do you feel like that helps give you the brain space to manage the emotional toughness? I know for me, it certainly did when I had everything going on with Dean. I lent hard into that because it just gives you time and space to be able to, because you get overwhelmed by the emotional side, that there was less things to think about, and I could just get up. I could actually get up and function for my day because I didn't have to think about it. Do you find it helps with that?
Oh, there's so like it just becomes your life, and so you just know what you do. You get up and you do the things that you know you need to do and get done, and you don't give yourself any. There's no excuses. There's nothing. there for you to go, oh, you know what, oh, fuck it, I can't do that. I'm going to go and sit on that. That's not even a question that I have to even ask myself.
Yeah, it doesn't happen.
This is what I do. I get up and I do this and I continue to food prep and I go to work and I then come back and I've got everything prepared. And it might be a great big joke for people that when I go away for work for a week, I wheel my 52-litre rescue with me. And it's chock-a-block full of my food for that week. And that's I get the apartment and that fridge is lined and it's done. So there's no reason why people can't do things and maintain just that level of consistency, even with shit that's going on around them.
Yeah.
Well, it takes to deal with the shit going on. That's what you've got to do, is just maintain that. And then that's one element that you don't need to rich yourself on. And then you can just get on with the other stuff.
Yeah. And I feel like when things are in life are spiraling, and I know I felt very out of control with being a bit of a control freak, you know, that's that masculine side in me.
Yeah. I think we've all got a bit of that.
Three of us have got an element.
No.
I'm a control freak. I admit it. So when things happen, like I'm very much an action person. So, you know, if you don't enjoy your job, fucking find another job. If you know, that sort of thing. But when a doctor turns around and says the cancer's back, Dean, you've got no control over that. No control whatsoever. But what I could control was my own health and energy. And I don't mean in an unhealthy, obsessive way. What it was it gave me stability because that element was organized. It felt calm. It felt in control. And I just leant hard into that to get through the parts that were just so out of control.
Yeah.
And what it also meant is that I had the energy and the emotional stability to be there for my family when they needed it. Like they needed me then. You know, we've got these mums that, you know, would die for their kids, but they're run ragged and they feel terrible.
Yeah.
You can't be the best for your kids like that. Can't be the best for your family when times are tough.
Well, you've got to look after yourself. Like as they always say, you've got to fill your cup. And it's like if you're on a plane, you've got to put your oxygen mask on first.
It's exactly the same. Sounds stupid. Sounds really cliche, but it's true, hey, Jen?
It is true. Yeah,
it is true. And if you, there's a lot of ladies that will say to me, "Oh, I don't know how you can do it. I've got this, and I'm not sleeping," and they go, "Well, you got to look at why, and figure out your why and what you can do, and fix yourself, and then you'll be able to move forward." But if you can't sort of even fix those simple things, then you're not going to be able to move forward. And if you keep making excuses for not being able to do something and just starting somewhere, then it's going to make it even harder for you.
And you just got to put a bit extra work in. It's hard. It is hard in the beginning. It's hard to learn to track. It's hard to, remember to go to bed on time. It's hard to get away from scrolling. It's, all these things are hard. It's hard to step into the gym. It's hard to film yourself. Like, a lot of ladies don't want to film themselves and send that in for feedback like that. They all feel hard. You just got to get comfortable with feeling uncomfortable. And then it feels good. Like we all talk about how wonderful this life is now and what it gives us, but it was fucking hard in the beginning.
Yeah, that's right.
I think I remember at one point I fell off the wagon somewhere along the line. I can't even remember if it was with Wol or just before I started with Wol. And I remember driving into the gym one day and I had just started back that week. And I think it was like, day 3, I was driving back to that gym and I was just like, this fucking sucks. Like I hadn't been going for about 6 months. And I was going back and I'm like, this just sucks. It's hard. It hurts. It feels uncomfortable. I didn't feel powerful anymore because, I wasn't pulling great weights or that because I hadn't done anything for 6 months. And I remember saying to Dean, I said, I'm never letting this go again because this is why so many people can't get started because it feels like shit.
Yeah, That's right. It's hard.
It does. It feels hard to start. But if you can just hang on long enough to
That's
start
right.
feeling better, you kind of got to do the work to feel better, even though you don't feel like doing the work. It's a bit, you know.
It's
Yeah.
it's learning a new skill. It takes its time, and sometimes you want to throw the barbell, and sometimes it's like anything. I'm trying to do my stand up and catch waves. Do you think that I can do that? Do you think that gives me the shits that I fall off all the time? But I'm just going to keep going out there. I'm going to keep getting back up again, and it's something I've got to learn. Like, and everyone has to learn something sometime. So
We all learn to drive. Do you remember when you learned to drive and it was like clutch, gears, shit, stay in the lines, you know, all this stuff running through your head. Now you can drive to work and go, oh, fuck, I don't really remember that drive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it comes automatic. It's a habit. It's a skill you have now that's embedded in you. And that's what happens. And then you can just focus on, can I get another rep? Like, you know, the whole breathe, brace, shoulders back. I remember doing all of this sort of stuff. And then I get halfway through and be going, fuck, what rep am I at?
Yeah.
Many things in your head and you can't even remember to count your reps. But now that's all it's about. 1, 2, 3. How can I get that 7th? Like, that's all you've got focus on now, because everything else is automated. And it's so empowering doing that.
Yeah, sure is.
Yeah. I love it.
Yeah, it's an awesome lifestyle. And I'm so grateful to have you guys on this journey. I'm really, you know, this is one of the wonderful things for me that's come out of this lifestyle, is meeting beautiful people like you.
Yeah.
You know, my ride and dies in training. You know, you guys are there through it all, and I love it. And I know we're all at a distance, but these girls get up a lot earlier than me, and I wait. They start training at like 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, and my alarm goes off at 5 o'clock. My little phone's like lit up. One another already chats. It's awesome. I love it. I love that I've met you guys. It's been a wonderful byproduct of the lifestyle. And, you know, people out there listening, you too can have all of this. And I know it's hard to start, but get help. If you can't do it yourself and you can't, I know there's a lot of free information out there, but if it feels hard or you can't pull all the information together, get help and find some like-minded people, because it's a beautiful journey.
Yeah, definitely.
Well, ladies, thank you very much for joining me today and just dribbling on our favourite topic. We get a little bit passionate about it and wayward. But if anyone here thought that this was a great podcast and think that someone would benefit from it, feel free to share it on your Instagram and tag me at strengthtraining.nutritionist, and we'll talk in the next episode.